Good morning, First Reformed Church. It is Saturday, September 26th. It's just after 9 a.m. Pastor Tim here, coming to you from my home office in Orange City, along with Executive Director Barry Brandt and Vice President of Consistory Marty Guthmiller, with another COVID update for our church. At the hospital, you're on number 58, right, Marty?
That's right.
For updates, we're not quite that many for church, but ours are starting to accumulate as well. We wanted to share with you some outcomes from a conversation our elders had yesterday afternoon with regard to ministry reopening at First Reformed Church. I thank you for watching and participating and engaging the videos that the staff sent out, welcoming you back to church tomorrow, the 27th. And we are super excited to worship with you tomorrow at 8:30 and 10:30. However, in light of some of the data that Marty is going to share with you, we have made one significant modification to our Sunday schedule. Tomorrow morning, we will not have anything between services. We will not have Sunday school discipleship education hour in that 9:30 to 10:30 window. We also won't be having Promise Kids during the service. And this is going to be one of those services where, once again, we encourage you to bring your own coffee. So why that decision was made, Marty will share with you. But kind of the summary statement here is the elders are affirming that we restart and we engage Wednesday night education for our young people, preschool through 12th grade. But we're not going to be doing that. We won't be doing the Sunday school guide this Sunday morning, or probably until things settle down a little bit with COVID in our community. So worship 8:30 and 10:30, be there. It's going to be a wonderful service. I'm excited to preach again, but there won't be the other educational opportunities between the two services. And I'll turn it over to Marty here to share with you some of the things he's discovering about COVID spread in our community that kind of underpin the decision of our elder board yesterday to make this modification.
Thank you, Pastor Tim. This has been an incredibly wild week, and I'm going to share a little bit with that now. And none of this is intended to be or to create any kind of panic, but it is simply to present information and present what our assessment of the current environment is. These are tough times, to be sure. Leadership at any level in today's environment is particularly difficult because there really is no stable base from which to choose. Things are shifting and shifting literally by the hour. I had a conversation last week with St. Luke's, or this week with St. Luke's as an example, that one afternoon it was one position and the next morning it was completely different because of what had happened overnight. It's important that we all understand also how decisions are being reached at church regarding holding church activities. They are certainly based on CDC, IDPH, CHP, whatever kind of initials you want to put out there that are legitimate public health concerns. But as an overlay to all of those, and more importantly, they are all evaluated within the context of what's going on locally. And it's unfortunately or fortunately, it's my position to be able to see that and convey that. And so we use that local barometer to either ramp up some of these guidelines or perhaps even consider loosening some of these guidelines. Orange City and Sioux County right now is currently in community spread regarding COVID-19. There is simply no question about that. It is everywhere. We are seeing it in our ER, we're seeing it on our floor, med-surg floor. We are seeing it everywhere and every day, 24 hours a day. Fortunately, the majority of folks are either asymptomatic or mild, and in most cases, we don't see those folks. But the folks that we see are sick, and people are getting sick. Some don't require hospitalization, but yet require some medical attention. Some require hospitalization that is very readily taken care of here. And then others, and this is by far the minority, require transfer out, require more advanced services. I know we had at least one this week that was flown out as an example, but that is not the norm. And the demographic of those particularly getting sick has not changed. It's typically older, and it's typically those with other underlying conditions. The Elder Board did meet yesterday and evaluated all of these revelations, and why that has to happen on a Friday, we're not really sure, because that's the hand that we're dealt. These things change very rapidly. One of the things that we wanted to communicate particularly was that our transfers to larger facilities were being restricted, not eliminated, but restricted. We were told that to the extent we could take care of patients here with advancing our therapeutics such as remdesivir and convalescent plasma, those kinds of things, fine. We within 36 hours here had developed about 6 or 7 additional negative pressure rooms to be able to deal with people here that did not require transfer out. We're okay with that, very comfortable with that. Our physicians and nurses are stepping up and doing a great job in that regard. But that information, and that information is not only just Sioux Falls, but it's Sioux City. And quite frankly, Omaha is in a similar situation as well. And so as we go through those decisions, they're not made, they have to be made within that context. And sharing that is not intended to scare anyone. It's just intended to say, hey, this thing is real. And we need to take the safest approach that we can with the knowledge that we have. Perhaps the easiest or safest thing to do would be to simply shut down. If there was a textbook to follow on these types of things, it probably would say that in this environment right now. Given the cards that are dealt, looking at your hand, the textbook would probably say, close things down. Perhaps that's not the right decision, though. And so the Elder Board weighed all of this information and decided to hold the services as Pastor Tim has described. We think it's critically important for the body to be together, to worship together in person. Maybe not exactly the way that we want to, but we think it's important to be together. We think that we are putting congregation in as good a position as we possibly can. We ask that you all use your own decisions and your own screen or filter to decide the appropriate thing for you. We certainly encourage masking, at least until you're seated, and that's where we are. So we will, the next question that you always get is, okay, well, what next? I was asked that this week regarding the school districts, asked a number of things, and there is no formula for this. If we're at 30% positivity rate today, I can't say that if we go to 25, it's going to be better. I can't say if we go to 20, it's going to be better, or any number. But we will evaluate it when it's a significant change in our favor. We will know it. And that's all I can say. We're defining significant right now by we'll know it. And we will, because there's so many different factors involved in that. What we're seeing in the clinic, what we're seeing in the ER, what we're seeing on the floor, all those kinds of things. We will know it, and we'll get a flavor of that. But it's not a numeric number. It is a we will know, I guess, is all I can say at that point. So this was a good meeting where the Elder Board talked. We worked through all the issues. We try to take every side of the equation in play. We know that in these kinds of decisions, we are not going to please 100% of the people. And quite frankly, the ultimate decision is not pleasing people. The ultimate decision is doing the right thing. And of course, in all of our lives, we like to please 100% of the people too. But sometimes that's just not possible. So We asked for grace-filled response to our decision. We asked for grace-filled lives. We are glad that our pastors are back, restored to health, and ready to go. The staff is fired up. We regrettably don't like that we've had to cancel the activities between the two services, but we think it's the best thing. And so that's where we're at, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Pastor Tim, for giving me the opportunity.
You're welcome. Barry, any closing thoughts from you?
Yes, I just really want to affirm that the meeting, I was part of the meeting yesterday to sit there, be part of that. I really felt it was a really good meeting that was held by the Elder Board. And want to reaffirm that we have had a Health and Wellness Committee that was set up by the elders at the beginning of this whole COVID situation. And the guidelines, Marty alluded to those from the CDC down, but of all the things that we have looked at, we have not changed the guidelines that we make decisions by. And the biggest, most important guideline, as Marty outlined, was what's going on locally, what's happening in your place right now. And when that happens, when it becomes true community spread, and we know that it's spread human to human, that impacts what we can and should do wisely to impact this pandemic. We feel that we have set up the church in such a way that we really minimize during our church services any real strong possibility of transmitting this to one another. Now, when you get outside and fellowship together over a cup of coffee and things like that, and when you're in smaller Sunday school rooms and with different age groups being involved, those are all different factors that are impacted in their own way. And that's what we look at to make the decisions and that we're doing right now. And every one of us wants to get back to normal. Every one of us hates ramping up and closing down. That's not normal, but yet in a way in the world it can be normal. This is an abnormal time. We're dealing with something that is brand new. As Marty said, there is no textbook. We're working very hard administratively to do what we feel we should do as a caring body of believers. And so I really appreciate the process and our leadership in doing this. And we all just really need to hang in there together now and rejoice in the Lord Sunday morning.
Thank you, Barry. Thank you, Marty, so much for sharing your thoughts with us as well. We do ask for your prayers. We know there's a lot of probably mentally raising hands. Well, what about this and what about that? And you know, there's a lot of questions that still hang out there. And I'm personally sort of grieved by all this too, but I'm confident that we have a good plan. And we're going to do our best to continue to witness in our world, to glorify God, to know Christ, and to make him known, which has always been the mission of our church and will continue to be the mission of our church. Again, I'm really excited to preach tomorrow. I hope you're there. I hope if you can't come, you'll listen in on what I think really a Christian worldview looks like. It's an important topic, especially as we head into an election. So I hope that you can participate with us one way or the other. And we'll continue to keep you updated as things change. And as Marty said, sometimes that's hourly. So hopefully we don't see you again an hour from now. But at this point, almost anything's possible. God bless you, and we will see you soon. Thanks.